Hey, what is up guys? It's the Michigan Minecrafter back here with another video, and today I'm back here with another Snapshot update. They just came up with Snapshot 15W34D, which actually, there's probably a couple bug fix snapshots in between there, but this is the most recent stuff. So, as you can see in my inventory, we have shields now, and we've got all different kinds down here in the combat tab. So you can make them all different colors and stuff, and the way that you do that is just by, I think it's putting iron in this slot, wood in these three places, and then different colors of wool in these three spaces depending on what color you want it to be. And then one thing that's really cool that you can do is you can actually take banners, which are new from the 1.8 1.8 update, and those of you who already know how banners work, you know that you can put like different designs on them and stuff with different dyes. I don't want to mess around with it right now because I don't have any of those crafting recipes memorized, but yeah, it's pretty straightforward. You just put some different dyes in there, get some crazy random geometric designs on them, and then what you can do is you can actually stick one of these banners in the crafting table with your shield, and it'll put that design on the shield, and you still get the banner back too. So I thought that was really cool that you could do that. But the actual practical purpose of the shield, as you can see, when I right click, it blocks. And as you can probably guess, that limits the damage that things like mobs and other players can do to you when they try to damage you. But the really cool thing is, as you might remember from the last Snapshot update that I did, obviously we've got the dual wielding. And you remember how me and Aiden were messing around with that last time? And there were a lot of limitations to what you could do because of the fact that things like swords use both sides of the mouse. Well, the cool thing about this is that, you know, normally when you don't have this in dual wielding, you can block with a sword, and for some reason it's not working right now. Oh, maybe they removed that in this snapshot. That would actually make sense, because what you can do is right-click to block with the shield and then hit with the sword. So that leads me into the next thing I wanted to talk about, which is the new way that swords work. So as you might have noticed right there, as opposed to being able to just click with the sword and it immediately comes back up to the position that it's in right now, when I left click with it, as you can see, it takes a little bit for it to get back up there. Not a hugely noticeable amount, but still different than the way that it used to be. Kind of loads up there. And the purpose of that is actually to make it so that people don't spam their swords anymore when they're doing PvP. So if I go into game mode 0 here, boom, and then I go into the options menu. I think it is in video settings, and then as you see right here, there's actually a new button in your video settings. So what this does is if I click it to crosshair, the attack indicator, every time I hit with my sword, hopefully you guys can see this alright, but underneath the crosshair in the middle of the screen, there's a little loading bar that looks vaguely like a sword. And basically what that does is if you are trying to attack a mob like a zombie or something, and you just spam it over and over again, as you can see, that little bar doesn't have the chance to make it up to the top of, or to the end of the sword. And if you don't let it load all the way, you can't attack with full damage. So if I grab a zombie spawn egg, if I change back into game mode 1 here, and I think it still does it. Okay, yeah, it still works in game mode 1. So if I grab a zombie spawn egg real quick, boom. So the normal amount of hits it takes to, oh wait, it's daytime. Whoops. Okay. Well, the normal amount of hits that it takes to kill a zombie is usually I think 3 hits with a diamond sword. So let's test that out. So when my diamond sword is fully loaded, it takes 1, 2, 3, 4 hits actually. Okay, and that looked like some new potion effects there. I'm not sure if that's a brand new thing or if maybe that was something that was in past snapshots. But yeah, I'm not sure what that is. But what ends up happening is if I spawn another one of these zombies and I just spam him, as you can see, it takes way more hits to kill him. And I don't know how much health he has, but I would bet it's not going down hardly at all because the fact... Okay, so that took like probably a good 20 hits in order to kill him right there. Just spamming the left click button. So that's definitely an interesting new feature that Mojang added. I'm not sure if I like it or not. It's definitely going to make combat a little more challenging, which is probably necessary because in the past it seems like combat has been kind of just kind of boring in Minecraft. Like there's not a whole lot to it. You just click the sword over and over again, and eventually whoever clicks it the hardest wins. But this makes it a little bit more of a strategy game. And then the other thing I needed to show, because that pretty much finishes it up for the sword and the shield. The other thing was these new potions, which are called lingering potions. So these are basically just your normal potions. You know, you got fire resistance, speed, all that kind of stuff. But what's different about them is that when you throw them on the ground, as opposed to normal potions, how they just kind of explode and you know, hit what is immediately near them when they hit the ground. The thing that's very different about this is if I throw it, boom, as you can see, it fills up that whole area with the potion and it stays there for a while, which I thought was really cool. So now I have speed 2 because I walked through that. And how long does it stay there? So I'm not sure if that 2 minutes or whatever it says next to speed actually refers to how long it stays on the ground. Okay, so it must not. They probably stay there for like 10 seconds or something, but yeah, that I guess refers to how long it actually stays in your system. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. That could definitely be very helpful for like map makers and stuff. I'll probably end up using this in some sort of mini game at some point on my mini games world once the 1.9 full update comes out. And yeah, so I think that is actually a really cool improvement that they've added to the game. And last but not least, as you can see over here, I've got some command blocks set up. And let's get that sword out of the way because it's kind of... Oh, it's still in the way. There we go. But as you can see, we've got some big changes to command blocks. So this command block down here is probably what looks most familiar to you guys who are used to using command blocks. Still the normal colors and stuff, but actually now it's got an animated texture, which I thought was pretty cool. But the big difference about these command blocks is that they all have very different functions, and just using one command block you can get any of these 3 command blocks. So the way that you change them is, as you can see, I have this button right here that says impulse. So that's the kind of command block that I have right here. And then if I change to chain, it's going to change to the same color as this because this is a chain command block. And then the purple one is actually a repeat command block. So these all do very different things. So if I change this back to impulse, so this actually works pretty much like a normal command block would that you're used to in Minecraft, in that you just put a redstone signal down and it does whatever command you tell it. So let's do a command. So let's say /say hi. There we go. So this command block, I'm telling this command block to say hi when it has a redstone signal. So if I set down a block of redstone next to it, like that, boom, it said hi in the chat. So that command block pretty much works the same way that your average command block would before this snapshot. And then the chain command blocks work a little bit differently. So let's put, say, what's up. So now that command block is programmed to say what's up, but if I set this redstone signal down on top, it doesn't work, as opposed to this one, which says hi if it's got a redstone signal next to it. Now the reason for that is that in order to get a chain command block to fire off a command or whatever, then what you have to do is it actually has to get that signal through a different command block. So let's say, let me just grab one of these command blocks. There we go. And the way that this works is, well, let me explain one thing that'll make everything make a lot more sense. So as you can see, these command blocks have a very different have different shapes on the outside. So this is like a little arrow, that's like a little arrow, this is like a little circle thing, and then there's a square on the back. So the big huge change, well actually like the main change that came with these command blocks is that now you can set them up in chains. So that is the purpose for this arrow up here, is that you actually want to set up the command blocks so that all of the arrows lead into each other, and then all the commands will follow down the line. So that'll all make sense in a second here when I demonstrate. But so these are chain command blocks, and by themselves they won't actually work to make a command work. But if I change this into an impulse command block, there we go, and then I can leave these as chain command blocks. So let's put different commands in there. So let's say /say 1 and /say 2 and /say 3. Okay, we have those commands in there, and then we can say /say numbers or something. It really doesn't matter what you put in here. You can put like /summon commands, /set block commands, anything really, but /say commands are just the easiest ones for this demonstration. So the way that this works is if I put this redstone block next to it, then it'll say numbers in the chat. But the goal is to try and get these command blocks to work. So in order to get that to work, I have to put redstone next to these command blocks to activate them, which, as you can see, didn't make them execute their commands and say the different numbers in the chat. But if I set this command block down here, boom, then it activates all three of them. So this has lots of different implications as far as the way that commands and stuff work in Minecraft, and you could do some crazy stuff with this. And a lot of this you could actually do with command blocks before, but the problem was this is a lot more efficient, and you can use a lot less command blocks to do a lot more. So the last command block I wanted to show off was this one right here, which is the purple repeat command block. And if we come and set this down here, I can demonstrate it. So we'll set this to repeat, and let's say /say A, or A, there we go. Alright guys, sorry about that, my dog was barking. But anyways, I put the /say A command into the command block, and so this command block pretty much does what you would expect it to, since it's called a repeat command block, and that is if I put a redstone signal next to it, it just spams the chat. It just goes on forever saying A. So it just keeps going and keeps going. So the usefulness of this is that back in the day, when you wanted to have a command block that did something like this, you had to put down two different command blocks, one that would set down a redstone block next to it, and one that would delete the redstone block, and they'd just constantly turn each other on and off and that created a lot of lag. So the great thing about this is that it can do the exact same thing with only one command block, and while being a lot easier on your computer. So that is the really cool thing about these repeat command blocks. But yeah, so that's pretty much everything I wanted to show for this showcase. So if you liked it, definitely be sure to slap that like button. And I will keep coming out with these videos about the most recent snapshots, so definitely be sure to stay tuned. And I will see all of you guys in the next video.